morning and welcome to the garden rooms here at Rogers Gardens. My name is Chris Patterson and I have the pleasure today of talking to you about some of the amazing orchids we sell here at the store. Before I get specific about some of the orchids, I would like to tell you where the majority of the orchids are found, which is in the tropical rainforest. Obviously the environment there is quite warm and very moist and humid. That would mean most of the orchids in the rainforest are epiphytic, which means they do not grow in soil. They grow freely and their roots will stretch out and attach to the bark of a tree or to the underbrush in the forest floor. Because of the rain coming out of the sky and the warmness in the rainforest itself, the water is much warmer. So when we water our orchids at home, we should try and mimic that pattern by using tepid water out of the sink, or let it come to at least room temperature, because that will make the roots very happy. Now specifically, I wanted to tell you about the most popular orchid we sell here at the store. It is called Phalaenopsis and looks like this. Very elegant, which is why I think it's extremely popular. And some of the characteristics that I'd like you to focus on right at the moment is Phalaenopsis always have these beautiful thick, strappy leaves at the bottom of the plant. And there's usually several leaves. The growth habit of these leaves is they will come in the middle, as this small one right here does, and grow up and out. So your new leaves will always come in the middle and out, and eventually bottom leaves will yellow and fall off. So the plant grows upward. And if you're able to look in the pot, you can see there are a myriad of roots that are growing underneath. But they also have roots that grow out of the pot, and these are called aerial roots. They love to be misted from time to time, and when you do mist them, they turn a bright green because they're so happy that you're hydrating the roots. Coming up out of the root section is this long spike of flowers, and at the very end, the buds will start and then the flowers will open. They always open from the top of the plant outwards, so the last ones to open are the ones up there at the very end. And likewise, when they are done blooming, they fall off the same way. The first one that opened is the first one that falls off. These orchids enjoy temperatures ranging anywhere from 60 to about 85 degrees. So they are used to a little warmer climate, and they do not do terribly well when it gets very cold. They're a little more temperature sensitive. That's why it's a great orchid for inside the home. Another very popular look that we have here at the store is the waterfall orchid. Same exact orchid, same leaves at the bottom, same roots coming out of the pot so that they're aerial roots. But the growers have trained this to waterfall back down, oftentimes called cascading. So it makes your eye just kind of spill right over the top of the flowers and go straight down. Besides the very big giant ones, they also come rather miniature. Again, same characteristics, leaves at the bottom, lots of aerial roots, but the flowers are much smaller and not as many on a spike. So it's great for like little powder rooms or just small areas in your home, or oftentimes we pair it with some of the larger ones and have the highs and lows going on in arrangements. Now that you've learned the basic information about the Phalaenopsis orchid, our most popular, I wanted you to see that not only does it come in white, but it comes in an amazing variety of colors. When I was showing you the little miniature white one, I want you to see too that it also comes in this beautiful kind of buttercup yellow. This happens to be a 2-spike one. And it also comes, they're called novelty ones, but in this very pretty, perfect for Valentine's Day color with the dark purple and then the white edges around the side of it. Again, happens to be a double spike, and you'll notice even though they're smaller and they're colored, same characteristics, leaves at the bottom, roots coming out, and the spike of flowers going up. Very similar to what the white one looks like is this pink variety with the big long spike of stem for the flowers to come out of. Flowers are very large, and this one, like the other white one we were talking about, has a side branch. Again, another great popular one for Valentine's Day. Then there's this very favorite of mine. It has a name called Rin Rin. Very kind of a medium-sized orchid, but flushes of blooms. The flowers are small, but look at, it's a double spike orchid and tons of branches coming out, which means tons of flowers, which means a pretty darn long life. And this is extremely unusual. If you can look at it pretty closely, you'll see that it almost looks like it's been painted. Kind of a buttercup yellow in the middle, and then it's just like brush strokes around the outside of the flowers. Now I'd like to step away from the Phalaenopsis orchid and introduce you to a completely different one. This is called a dendrobium, oftentimes referred to as a cane orchid. And if you look closely, I'm going to turn around to the back side, you can see it looks like a cane that's going up the whole center of the plant. Kind of like sugar cane that you would see in Hawaii. The one amazing thing about this orchid is the leaf structure. Out of the cane comes green leaves, and if you really look at the pattern closely, you'll see that the leaves go every other one going up the stalk. And then out of the very top leaf comes the spike of flowers. These flowers will have the same length of life basically as a Phalaenopsis, not usually as many flowers, but they're more delicate and dainty. So it's a totally different look, but a very special look. I love the look of the dendrobiums. They will sometimes have more than one cane blooming in a pot, and it multiplies in the pot. So when the flower is done blooming, you will cut this one off, and then you will watch for new growth. If you look carefully, you can see that there is a brand new one starting right down here at the very bottom. And it'll take about a year for that to grow, and then you will have flowers from that again next year. Right next to this one is also the same type of dendrobium. I just wanted to show you that there are 2 spikes of flowers coming out of this one. So they do have multiple spikes, 50% of the time I would say. And as you can see, the flowers open the same way, start down here and open out to the tip, and then they fall off exactly the same way. Very interesting leaf structure going up. It's almost like you don't need any other thing with it. Where the Phalaenopsis has had the leaves at the bottom, this gives you a flush of greenery going all the way up, and your eye continues up to the flowers at the end. Besides the white dendrobium, I wanted to show you today this very unusual one that we don't see often. And if you look very closely, the inside lip is kind of a limey green, and then it has little paint stripes coming out around it. So it's more of an unusual one and not one that you see on a regular basis. And then this one we do get quite often. It's kind of a goldy, limey green, yellow, but it's got this really deep burgundy lip on the inside. A little bit shorter. This is a little bit younger one. It hasn't developed into the longer canes yet, but it will as it gets a little bit older. And these flowers in the proper environment tend to last probably 4 to 6 weeks in your home, maybe a little bit longer, and they're about a once-a-week water. The last dendrobium I want to show you today is Jehaz. We have just gotten it here at the store, and it is, I think, probably my very favorite. It is a member of the dendrobium family. As you can see, there are lots of canes. Leaf structure is a little bit different. It's kind of a flush of leaves at the very end. And these little tiny bell-shaped flowers, and it has to be the most fragrant orchid you will have ever smelled. It will fill up your room with this amazing, light, sweet aroma that will, every time you walk by, make you stop and think, oh my gosh, I can smell that orchid again. So we will have it probably for the next 4 to 6 weeks. This is its normal blooming time. And it definitely reblooms every year, and it again grows and multiplies in the pot, so it will be sending up new canes. Excitingly, it always has a large amount of spikes. So you've got, as you can see, 2 spikes of flowers blooming already, 2 very tiny baby spikes down here that are just starting up, and then these are kind of midway. They're just, the flowers are starting to puff a little bit. I think the spikes are as long as they're going to get, and probably in another week or so, or 2 weeks, those are going to start to look like this. The last orchid I want to talk to you about today is called the Miltonia orchid, oftentimes referred to as the pansy orchid because of the shape of the flower. Unlike the other orchids, this one is not quite as temperature sensitive, so it can take a little lower temperatures at night. It doesn't mind the coolness. Unlike the other ones, it does have a chance to bloom a couple of times a year rather than just once. And you'll notice it has a lot of leaf structure. They're kind of long and strappy and floppy. And it also has many, many flower spikes. I think probably the most unique thing that I can tell you about this orchid is if you look really closely at the flower inside, you will see that there is a little angel in there. She's got a little head, she's got wings and an arm, and then her beautiful skirt at the bottom. Many times people think of it as a ballerina. And these orchids, not all of them, but many of them do come with a fragrance. It's just a very light sweetness that you can smell as you walk by. They too come in several different colors. This is the white one that we have with the purple center, and again, that little angel is right there in the middle. Hopefully you have noticed how easy it is to care for orchids in your own home. It truly is a fact that the less you fuss over an orchid, the more successful you will be. I have truly enjoyed telling you and sharing with you some information about the orchids that we have here at Rogers Gardens, and I hope to see you in the orchid room soon. Thank you so much.